I'm going to have to say that the trade for Patrick Beverley is what the Bucks have been looking for ever since the departure of PJ Tucker, who now currently sits on the bench of the Los Angeles Clippers. I think that trade was necessary. Because at first, in the beginning of the season, everyone said they needed another wing. They needed another defensive wing. How about the guy down in Chicago? I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. I don't know why. How about him? The Bucks need a defensive wing. Well, everybody kind of scoffed and laughed at the Patrick Beverley trade. Oh, he's too old. He's undersized. He's a joke. Well, guess what? He has made a difference for this team since the trade deadline. A big difference. A mighty big difference. Because his aggressiveness, his tenacity on defense is very effective. It's infectious. And I think him being acquainted with Doc Rivers also helped. I think probably Doc Rivers probably was responsible for that trade as well. Because he knew what he needed to take to get this team going. Patrick Beverley, as much when he first showed up in the scene almost 10 years ago, I didn't like him. He was a pest. For some reason, when I was younger, I always thought he was reckless. Got Russell Westbrook hurt that one playoff. Yeah, I think it was Houston, OKC in the opening round. I forgot what year, 2013 or 14, one of those years. It could have been 2013. I forgot. My mind slips sometimes. But ever since then, people may laugh at him. You can laugh all you want at him, but shoot, he plays with so much heart and emotion. You can't teach that. That's just given. And he's probably got it from those tough streets of Chicago. And it was definitely what the Bucks needed. Now I'm seeing him sitting here arguing, getting into it with Giannis, Dame, whoever. It's working. It's big time working. And not only he's doing the little things like I just said, but also he's also contributing on the offensive side as well. The game against Chicago, I think he scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. That's not his job offensively, but shoot, it works. It works. I am very proud of this team so far. Even without Giannis last night against the Clippers, I am very proud. Now, somebody say, oh, you get smoked in Giannis for not playing. Well, if he doesn't play against the Warriors tomorrow night, I guess he is hurt. But if he plays tomorrow night against the Warriors, See, players of the past played with all kinds of injuries, knickknacks, and pains, right? But they managed to show up. Jordan played 82 games. I'm going to use him as an example. He played 82 games numerous times in his career. And I bet for most of those 82 games during that season, or any season they play 82 games, I'm sure enough he was winded, he was tired, I'm sure enough he had aches and pains, his knees everywhere, but guess what? He still showed up and played. Now, the injury is said to be worse, then fine. And then somebody, did you see that? Yeah, I saw the injury. He continued to keep playing. I think the injury occurred against Chicago for Giannis. So I don't want to hear that. Going back to Pat Bev. His attitude is infectious. It's even affecting, I wouldn't say it's affecting Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is already like that. But I think it's even encouraging Bobby Portis to be even more of a menace. Like everybody got all in their feelings and talking about how he was standing over, I can't think right now. DeMar DeRozan on Friday when it was Bobby Portis got that rebound, was kind of standing over and talking about, oh, DeMar DeRozan got that cripple. Shut up! It's basketball. Stop acting soft. This team ain't soft no more. Beginning of the season, they was soft as cookie dough. Now they toughen up. They want it now. Now, I ain't gonna say they gonna be winning the next not the next, but winning the rest of the season out. No, that ain't gonna happen. Fish ain't gonna lose a couple of games. But this is what we wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see. And I'm finally seeing it. Now they need to translate it to the playoffs when it gets slower, a little bit more physical than what it is. None of this running and jumping down the court. I think and I said this before, this is why some of these teams, like a Minnesota, I don't want to pick on them, but like a Minnesota, Memphis, OKC, Cleveland, when it gets tight, you can't be doing that running and jumping and dunking. That doesn't mean anything. You got to have some type of strategy, some type of focus on offense and defense to play in the playoffs at high stakes. That's why the Knicks beat the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. I don't know what's going on with the Knicks in terms of injuries. It just gets worse for them. But I ain't talking about them too much. But come playoff time, I think you might see a different team. Dame was finally playing defense, aggressive defense. Before he was just, like I said before, he was just out there. Now he's in the faces of Kawhi, Paul George. The defense is moving around, always shuffling. But let me see something right quick. So in their 6-game winning streak so far, let me see the box scores of some of these games right quick. Make this quick. The stars of the opposing team. Well, in the game against Minnesota coming out of the All-Star break, I think Anthony Edwards, I think he had why did I give me the stats? Give me the stats, please. He had 28 points. Yeah. But some of those 28 points was, when they was trying to catch up towards the end of the game, because the Bucks went on a run late in the third and early fourth. So some of that was catch-up points. They held them to 28 points. The next game against Philadelphia, Tyrese Maxey. See here. Oh, no. This freaking computer. Pull up my nose, please. Stop playing around. Sorry. Tyrese Maxey, he was held to... He wasn't held to... I don't think he was under 20. Was he under 20? Held to 24 points that game. Tobias Harris only had 8. It was more of the supporting cast playing the game, but it wasn't good enough because they got blown out. They got blown off the court, 119-98 that game. It's not really stars on the Charlotte Hornets. I guess you count Brandon Miller. Do you really want to count Brandon Miller? I don't know what happened to LaMelo Ball. Is he out for the season? I don't know. I don't pay attention to Charlotte. Nothing really paid attention to there with them. Sorry for any Charlotte Hornet fans. It's just the reality of it. Against the Charlotte Hornets, the first game, nobody got over 20 points. Miles Bridges had the most points with 17 in the first game. That game was a blowout as well. Actually, the Bucks broke a streak last night. I held their opponents to under 100. I think the Clippers ended up scoring 106 points last night, so that breaks that record, the streak that they had of holding opponents under 100, which helps. The second game against the Charlotte Hornets, I don't know, I got Boston Celtics on my mind. Brandon Miller scored 21 points. That's their high, but that game was pretty much over because they had the Hornets at 30 points at halftime. Chicago Bulls, which checked down. DeMar DeRozan was held to... No. That's not what he was held to. That's the wrong stat. DeMar DeRozan was held to... Man. 12 points. 12 points. So they improve on holding some of these stars to a limited number of points, forcing some of the role players to score more because Kobe White ended up scoring 22 points, but it still wasn't enough. All their starters were in double figures. Alex Caruso, that was the guy I was talking about earlier, but it still wasn't enough because they got no bench production at all. So, and last night they James Harden and Paul George both scored 29, but they held Kawhi Leonard to 16 points. So they let 2 of the 3 get their points. The other ones held under 20. So their defense has improved a lot. I think their defense is now 115.5 defensive rating, 15th or 16th in the league so far. That's a big improvement from 23rd, I think they was at the beginning of the season. So Doc Rivers has made a difference with his team. Like it or not, JJ Redick and his followers. Now, the whole thing about them not playing anybody so far, well, this year, against teams that are probably going to the playoffs, a W against the 76ers to start of the season, a W against the Miami Heat to start of the season, the second part, Knicks, Mavericks, Heat again in the in-season tournament, Knicks again, Pacers. I don't think the Rockets are going anywhere. Knicks again, and the back-to-back. They did lose the second to the back-to-back. They beat Cleveland, going to the playoffs. They blew the hell out of the Celtics, going to the playoffs. Beat the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if they're going to the playoffs or not. They're in the play-in area. Beat the Kings. Beat the Cleveland again. Beat the Pelicans. Beat the Mavericks again. Beat the 76ers. They're going to the playoffs, regardless of Joel Embiid being there. Beat the Timberwolves. And just now beat the Clippers. So, they have played some people. And guess what? The next 4 games are on the road against playoff-bound teams. Or, 3 out of the 4 are playoff. Well, let me say that again. 2 of the 4 are playoff-bound teams, certified-bound teams, with the Clippers and Kings. The other 2 being the Warriors and Lakers, who are now in the play-in. And anything can happen from now and then. We know the Lakers are going to be in the playoffs. Well, I'm kidding. And then next, they play the Suns, Celtics, then OKC twice. So it should be interesting to see how they end this season. I can see them sliding the L, getting an L, maybe to OKC. Maybe one of these games on the road. I'll be surprised if they go on a sweep on the road. They do play the Boston Celtics again. They finished the season on the road too. She whiz. But anyways, they're now 41-21. We shall see. I don't want to hear that they never played anybody win. You can just look on the list. They played a lot of teams that are going to the playoffs and beat a lot of them. So they finally are catching their stride. Hopefully Giannis can come back. And they still have yet to incorporate Chris Middleton since the start of the All-Star break. He's been hurt since before. I think when he got hurt against Phoenix. So they still know him. Once they get him, and once they learn how to mix Chris Middleton into this mix and keep on what they're doing, oh my goodness, they will be a problem. And everybody keeps talking about the Boston Celtics. I did give praise to them a couple of days ago for what they have doing. But they got to show something in the playoffs. Oh, but they was in the finals 2 years. Yeah, but they lost. But they lost. And like the Bucks last year, they got beat by the Miami Heat. Shoulda, woulda, couldas.